we got first-time guest here, BJ Wilson.
Great to be here.
Very, very sought after, BJ Wilson. Who isn't looking at you right now? You got the Neglis just came out with the CFL,
Yep.
NFL, XFL.
Yep.
Let's go down the list, man. This has been a journey and a half since you've graduated in 2023.
Yes, sir. No, it's definitely been a crazy experience. Starting out with a lot of NFL teams coming through and visiting at my school. That was something that I never thought I'd experience up at Quincy. And then, it continued after NFL. We got a little bit of CFL interest, went up to Edmonton.
Yep.
Made some stuff happen up there, and now we're looking at some XFL teams. So it's been a real surreal experience.
So you're going to Quincy. You're an offensive lineman. There's someone that I've heard nothing but good things about his ability to teach the offensive line, Gary Bass.
Yeah.
Was that the money ticket to get you to be a Quincy Hawk? Because it definitely wasn't the colors.
Yeah, I can't even blame you for saying that. But so to be honest with you, I wasn't very highly recruited out of high school. I was a tight end coming out of high school, and I had Quincy and Missouri Western were the only two schools.
All the best tackles are tight ends coming out.
That's what I hear. And I didn't know that. I didn't know they were going to move me to tackle.
And all the best tight ends are QBs coming out of high school.
That's also true. Travis Kelce, great example.
Or Clint Sig, just friend of the show.
Oh yes, sir. Yep. I didn't really know I was going to be, or I wasn't getting recruited too highly out of high school. So Quincy and Missouri Western were the only two schools looking at me. Quincy offered me more money. It was basically as simple as that. I wanted to play football, and I wanted to get my education for as little as possible. So
yeah. So 4 or 5 years there, playing with a couple guys. First Quincy player to get an NFL opportunity. It's got to be one of the pretty big honors, right? Like, I'm sure that's a part of the recruiting pitch is with the coaches like, hey, man, you could be that guy, and you were that guy. Yeah,
so that's definitely something that it was in my mindset, but I was always like, okay, now I'm going to go do school. I'm going to go lock in. I'm here. And I didn't realize that people from D2 made it to NFL when I first went to college. I'm like, okay, I'm here focusing on school.
Yeah.
Then I started getting good at offensive line. I'm like, okay. And then people started saying things. I'm like, okay, I don't really know what that means anything, but we'll see. And then 1 or 2 springs ago, we started getting interest from NFL teams. I'm like, oh, okay, this is real. Like, let's lock in. Let's really start doing this.
When did you realize, obviously, the interest comes up and, maybe an email, text message, Instagram, whatever it is. But when did you realize, like, okay, it's great that this team thinks I'm good, but, like, just because a lady down the road says you're pretty or says you're good looking doesn't mean you're actually good looking. Like, were you like, okay, I could probably do this?
So I think as soon as it was the Vikings and the Chicago Bears had underclassmen pro day, and they had invited me to it. That was kind of the first thought where it's like, okay, this is happening. But it was when it was a combination of 2 big things for me. It was agents started hitting me up, and it was a lot of them, and I really wasn't expecting that. Yeah. They were in my DMs on Instagram and my DMs on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, this is some interest. And then it was my senior season when scouts started. Ended up with every team except for 3 coming through that senior season.
That's something I've talked about with Clint Sig when he played with Trey Pipkins at USF. And it's crazy when you have that one guy. Granted, like, you were the one guy at Quincy, but how much it just opens the doors for everyone else. And just like, there's no, man, if, all I needed was a shot and I'd be at the league or whatnot. It's like, no, man, like, BJ opened that door. They're watching him, but they're watching kind of like, they're watching him when he's not on offense. They're not watching him on the sideline that much. They're watching the defense. And, to me, it just, I don't know. I just think like when you have those guys, those success stories, and, I think the journey for you is continuing to move on or, not done yet. But when you have those things, it just opens it up for everyone in the program and in the conference in general as well. Because when we think of D2 now, we think of the MIAA.
Yep.
GLVC, you got Matt Cole, Eric Hansen from Upper Iowa now isn't there. But, I mean, it's really, the U of Indy kid.
Yep. I'm gonna blank on his name right now.
Is it Clinton?
Toriano Clinton.
Okay, yeah.
Absolute dog. One of the best running backs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, he stood home in Indy for a little bit, but you guys just open it up for so many like great young players to get an opportunity who might have not.
Yeah.
So when you're going through this process and everything like that, where's like the self-doubt coming in or anything? Or
I mean, yeah, there was going to be a little bit of self-doubt. One of the biggest things for me after the season was over was I'm not sure if you know, I got injured my second to last game. Yeah, so when I didn't get to play in the Shrine Bowl was going to kind of be my thing where I could like figure out, okay, what can I do against D1 guys, big school guys, Power 5 guys. That was something I was really like looking forward to, just so I can see how I stacked up against the competition. Obviously, I didn't get to play in the Shrine Bowl, so at that point, doubt started to kind of creep in, not only in what was my ability or how was my ability going to stack up against the competition, but also, am I going to actually get a chance to even try to play at the next level?
What's that mindset though? Like obviously like it's the easy like Instagram story of like keep grinding, all that coach talk and everything like that. But I mean, there's coach talk, and then there's like, as someone who is a coach, sometimes you give some coach talk and you're just like, kid's got to figure it out on his own, man.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, like you said, mindset-wise, it was coach talk. Like I was doing rehab. I'd never had a serious injury before. So it was just keep pushing through the rehab, get to the next step. Okay, I can't really do football stuff, but I can study football. I can watch other players play and pick up on their technique right now. So it's just finding ways to keep myself moving forward. And another cliche is I was surrounded by people that were motivating me to keep moving forward. Some of my best friends that were on the team up at Quincy, they were like, hey, you got to be the one to do this. Like, we don't care anymore. You got to do this. Our time's over. Same thing with my parents, same thing with my coaches.
Yeah. Well, one of those players up there I've seen personally play a couple times, and I don't know if he'll play in the NFL, but I do think he'll be playing somewhere as your quarterback, old Tion.
Oh, yeah. Just talking to him a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Got nothing but respect for that guy.
Yeah. To ask him about his come from behind at Missouri Baptist. You know that story?
I do not know that story. I probably saw it on he probably posted about it, but
yeah, I think we were up like 14-0, and it's where I coach at, and yeah, man, there was a bad snap, and it was, I don't think it was raining, drizzling, but it was a bad snap, and it's going to be 3rd and 17, and man, kid picks it up, doesn't make the play or anything like that, just throws the ball away.
Yeah.
But takes it from like a 3rd and 27 to a 3rd and 10, and then I think they still did. I don't know if they scored or not. I don't remember, but regardless, like you're talking about 3rd and 27, punt from the 3, like long snappers, man.
Yeah.
At that level in the cold, it's not always a sure thing, and at any level, long snapping ain't a sure thing. But it's like, yeah, man, all that stuff happened, and I personally feel like that really changed the game for us there. Like that kid's special. You know who I compare him to is De'Ara King.
Really?
Yeah, I think they have a similar game. I think they're both around the same height. A little bit of a wind up that I don't like his throwing motion.
Okay.
But I have definitely like had arena teams like reach out that like I've friends with that don't actually know I coached in the same conference as him.
Yep.
But yeah, now they have reached out and they're like, "What do you think of this kid?" I'm like, I think he's perfect for that game, and I think certain smaller league would eat this kid up as a gadget QB.
100%. I mean, he's just so quick and shifty. He's just the playmaker mindset. That is what Tion is, and that's what he did for us all throughout college, the 4 years that we played together. And I also played against him in high school, so I had to deal with him in high school.
Yeah, because he went to Vianney.
Yep, Vianney. Yep,
Yeah.
So he's in our conference. Saw him twice a year. Saw him in football, saw him in basketball.
Did he play with the Markway kid?
Markway, who's that?
I think it was Kyle Markway. He played with the Rams. I think he went to South Carolina.
Do you know what year he graduated?
Probably like 14, 15, 16.
Then he might have played 1 year because I'm pretty sure he was the quarterback his freshman year.
Yeah.
That would have been his freshman year, 2014.
Because he played in the USFL now or the UFL now, or the elemental PO now, the alphabet mafia now.
Yeah.
But he was with the Michigan Panthers, played with the Rams, and he's the Markway family is pretty big in the St. Louis area.
Okay.
His cousin is at LSU right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's.
Wow.
I don't know. I think he backs up Jason Taylor's son.
Okay.
But I mean, still getting reps like when they play.
Yeah, I mean, being backup at LSU is not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a solid $64,000 a year job.
Yeah, literally. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets goofy with this NIL stuff. You kind of, I know you talk about off camera. You kind of obviously didn't receive the NIL deals, but did you feel the shift in college football at the D2 level, like as far as essentially you guys being farmed? Because that's something I talk with coaches all the time about.
Yeah. So it wasn't something that we could really sense because the way you look at it, we weren't getting too much love down at Quincy. Honestly, the whole GLVC never really got too much love in terms of the talent, even though I think we're probably one of the most talented conferences in D2. But it wasn't something that we were particularly experiencing, but I do think maybe at the MIAA level, they were probably getting a little bit more. I had some friends, one guy specifically at Missouri Western, I was getting kind of some more of that interest.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a gentleman from S&T. I think you played against him, Ben Stratman.
Yep.
What you got to say about old Ben?
Ben is a dog. Ben is the one person that has got a sack on me more than once. He got 2 sacks on me in 3 years span, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I'll give Ben that. He is definitely a dog.
Who else you got that's on your, I'll call it the lipstick list?
The lipstick list. Okay. So
you know the reference, right?
I do not know.
Oh, and Billy Madison. You ever watch Billy Madison?
No, I haven't.
So, like, Billy Madison, he's Adam Sandler. He goes back and he, like, is making amends with all these kids that he was mean to, right?
Okay.
So he goes on the lipstick list. He calls Steve Buscemi, and he's like, hey, John Smith, I was really mean to you in high school, and, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I forgive you. So it puts, like, these weird, like, 80s movie, like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And Buscemi puts on lipstick, and he's got, like, people to kill on it. And he takes Billy Madison's name off. So it's like,
Jeez.
It's funny. I'm not much older than you, but I always make that joke to, like, you get like the student assistant or whatever. It's like, the players, treating them wrong, and I'm like, yo, boy's about to put you on your lipstick list, bro. And they don't get it either, dude.
Just act like we get it. We're like, okay, so that's actually a thing.
Yeah, coach. But you just YouTube Steve Buscemi lipstick list and like Billy Madison, and it's a little dark, but it's funny.
I mean, it sounds funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, because it's Steve Buscemi, we got the old googly eyes.
Yeah.
My I don't know if you care or not, but my uncle actually met Steve Buscemi.
Really?
He was and it's in a documentary about like 9/11 from New York originally, right? So like, some crazy stuff happened in September a while ago, and he goes, in the documentary, they're like, I'm digging in the rubble, and this is how he talks. Named John Nolan, 62 engine, 133 truck. So I'm digging in the rubble, and I look over, and I'm saying, man, I know that guy. And this other guy comes up to me and he's like, yeah, that's Steve Buscemi. And I go, the guy from Con Air? He goes, yeah, he was a firefighter in 55 engine in Brooklyn. I go, no way. Yeah, Steve Buscemi went down the dig during 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a firefighter for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that voice is awesome.
Yeah, no, the voice is what got me.
Yeah.
The fact that was a perfect, like,
I'm from Queens.
Okay, well, that will do it. Yeah.
I hide the accent.
Yeah.
I put a little twang on there too. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I peeped it. I was like, whoa. Caught me off guard.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of Alabama. I lived in Georgia too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you've been all around.
Oh man, I'm like I'm kind of like Pitbull.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide over here.
There we go.
Yeah, I got a lot of licenses and a lot of passports.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, is there a couple guys in like that you still look at like maybe your out of conference games from Quincy and whatnot that kind of irk you a little bit? You're just like, man, that guy.
So no, not too much from out of conference. I guess there was I'm trying to remember the schools we played out of conference. It was a Midwestern Texas State, I want to say. It was a really complicated name, but they had a DN. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a first game of the season. He got me with the meanest spin move of all time.
Like he actually did a spin move, not just like I'm sure you see it with the way they do with a spin move where they're just like flailing their arms around there like straight ice pick and like and go explode low into the rip.
Because, like he made an actual move. Yeah.
Not just moved his body in a circular motion and you're just like, okay, patty cake a little bit.
Yeah, no, that was the reason I was wearing a one knee brace all season after that game because you know knee braces they kind of slow you down a little bit and obviously I'm not gonna blame it on the knee brace, but that was like, okay, I'm taking this knee brace off. I'm full speed. Yeah. I'm not getting beat by that move again.
Dude, yeah, I mean I've seen some nasty spin moves even at the Power 5 level where it's just like do you actually practice that or are you just like patty caking? There was a kid that someone was telling me about, like the kid spin moved and he literally like he was at the line of scrimmage, didn't even engage, just spun and then like they probably could have called like an illegal man downfield. That's how like much the offensive lineman just like engaged and just like pushed him.
And just drove him.
Yeah, just like, all right, man, well, I dig with it, Man,
I honestly don't think there's anything better than like a delayed spin move too. Like when you're just like, okay, the play's over and just out of nowhere they're like, bow.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Well, I like it too. And as an offensive lineman, I'd love to hear your take on it is when they set you up for the spin move.
Yeah.
Like when I feel like not enough defensive linemen in college are utilizing their reps like a pitcher would.
Okay.
And when I say that, I mean, when you're 0-2, like, baseball.
Yeah, I mean, not great, but I'm a St. Louis guy. Cardinals.
Yeah. But, 2 strikes, I could do my throwaway pitch.
Yeah.
So I want to set you up to, like, the curveball to the fastball.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like there are too many guys who don't utilize their pass rushing. Like, it's okay if I don't get a sack on this play because the next play
I'm set it up already.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes we don't do that. And it's like that's a coaching point I try to do is like, hey man, like you threw your fastball, get ready for the curveball.
Yep.
And that's something I wish like I don't know, when they're doing the spin move, like okay, like set them up for that rip and then kind of like, maybe do like a little bit more like I don't know. I like what Myles Garrett is doing. He's essentially being a basketball player.
Yep.
I like the way he's moving. Yeah, well, yeah, that. But like just moving the hips and like the crossovers and stuff.
Yeah.
I really think that's something that I'd like to see more. And like I'm trying to, learn more how to teach it right now for myself.
Yeah, trying to find a way to teach people to be like Myles Garrett is definitely a tall task. He is a dangerous man, to say the least.
Well, I don't need Myles Garrett. I need, whoever my player is that day.
Yeah.
I need the best version.
Exactly.
If I had Myles Garrett, we got some other things going on. I'm driving that kid to Alabama
immediately.
If I got Myles Garrett walking on my campus, I'm like Nick, you need this kid
right now.
Take him. I am doing a disservice to this young man.
Yeah.
But after the season, the DMs are inflated, follower counts up.
Yep.
Starting that day, that draft process, what's going on in the head on that as far as like East-West, like, okay, because your agent, I feel like, is never going to be the bad guy until May 2nd or April 30th,
Yep.
And it's like, hey, I know I said all this stuff, but we're thinking 5th round grade.
Yep.
And the Green Bay Packers might be interested. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was obviously my whole thing started my season ended November, early November, and at that point it was still time. I hadn't picked an agent yet, so that was kind of one of the cards we used to kind of see if me and my parents were like, okay, we have 20 people on this list. We have not made nearly enough progress. How are we going to weed people out? Oh, well, you're injured, so we can use that. Nobody said they were uninterested after that, and I was like, oh, no. So I had to I don't like letting people down. When you're telling people no, that's what it feels like you're doing.
Yeah.
So I had to tell 19 people no. I eventually got down to my final 5, and when I figured out who my agent was going to be, he's like, okay, cool, first step, surgery. So we get the surgery done, and he had helped me find the surgeon. That was kind of one of the reasons we ended up rolling with him.
Is he still your agent?
Oh, yeah. He's still my agent, doing a great job.
You want to drop a shout-out to him?
Oh, shout-out to Derek Gilmore, Day One Sports and Entertainment.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Follow it at Day One Sports.
Yep, at Day One Sports.
Getting at least one more follower.
Man.
I'm going to give him a follower. You hook me up with more interviews.
Yeah, and he just might.
Yeah.
But anyway, so so the focus is going to be on rehab. We're going to try to talk to teams, but one of his big things was he wanted to kind of build this little family aspect with our draft class. So he flew us me and the other 3 guys out to meet each other. So we kind of get close, and one of the other guys is going to the Shrine Bowl.
Who is that?
Chandler Zavala, so he's a guard for the Panthers right now. He's actually out for the season, but
okay.
Yeah.
And the other 2 guys?
Abraham Bowplan and Robert. Robert, what is your last name? I cannot think of it right now, but he was a D tackle up at Florida State.
Okay, follow them as well, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So we all meet. And next step, obviously, I'm not playing the Shrine Bowl, but I'm still going to go for the interviews. Once again, shout out to Eric Galko for letting me go, even though I was injured.
Yep.
Which actually, just going back a few seconds. So the day or the game, the week I got invited to the East-West Shrine Bowl, that was also the week that I got hurt. So I had just accepted it. We got on the bus, left to go to Bolivar, Missouri.
Oh, God.
And then 10 minutes into the game, I get hurt. So, yeah. But so I'm at the Shrine Bowl. Obviously, only thing I'm doing there is learning kind of how an NFL playbook works. You know, it was ran by NFL staff. We had the Falcons running our side of things. And so we kind of got to learn how they ran their offense, which was a really unique experience. And
is it Malarkey or Munchak? Who is your offensive line coach? I feel like they have a prominent guy there.
So we had the assistant offensive line coach. He was heading the meetings.
Okay.
And I can't think of his name right now either. If you can't tell, I'm not the best with names.
No.
But so that was a really good experience, especially for by the time I got to the Panthers, I was, okay, I already have an idea of how NFL offenses work. So obviously finished that. We do interviews. I probably got 12 teams that interviewed me when I was up there. And then by that point, my agent's asking me, okay, cool, so who are the people that have been shown the most interest? Who are the people that have shown up like 2-3 times? And I give him all the information. He starts doing his reach out thing. He's like, okay, I think probably 6th, maybe 7th round, we have a chance. Mm-hmm. And then the teams that we were kind of convinced were the most interested were the Jets and the Rams.
Well, funny how life works out.
It is funny how life works out. Yeah.
I as a native New Yorker, seeing the offensive line woes of the Jets right now.
Yeah.
Wow, I think you look good in green.
I would agree with you.
I don't know if you'd be having the best time.
I mean, I'd be having that. You're playing football.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Plus, one of my boys is up there, Tony Adams. He's
local St. Louis kid.
Yep.
You know, waiting on him to come answer that DM.
Oh yeah, hey, well, yeah. We went to SLU together. We were captains together.
Yeah. No, he. I mean, it was what was it like 5 weeks ago, or probably longer? It's when they beat the Eagles.
Talk about that pick he had.
It was the pick, but like the defense. It was DJ Reed was out.
Oh yeah,
Sauce Gardner was out, and like one of the safeties was out. Like, no disrespect to Tony Adams, but like, Sauce and him, a little bit of a difference, right? And I mean that performance, the whole Jalen Hurts, and this is before Hurts is sick and hurt.
Yep.
Like, this is prime like MVP Hurts.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like
Everyone's talking great.
like just to see that effort that they put out there, man, was like another guy that was in that secondary was Tay Hayes. And Tay Hayes is a Appalachian State guy, USFL guy.
Okay.
Cut, signed,
Really?
signed. Yeah, I mean, the guy's been grinding since like 2018. And, I mean, the guy, to be a part of that and, pretty much solidify his spot on that roster or practice squad, to be able to continue adding those dollar bills, like just it was cool to see that week, like specifically that week, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely awesome. I mean, I feel like as a whole, that whole defense, but that DB group, like as much as I see them talk about each other, like I obviously I get a lot more clips than maybe other people would just because of
just a little bit,
of who I follow. But I think they're one of the closest like tight knit groups I've ever seen.
And I mean, it's just like you could tell that there's love out there. Like especially if you're gonna have your, backups come in against one of the bigger games of the year, like dude, that says a lot about that room and says a lot about DJ Reed and Sauce and the younger guys in there that just kind of, lead, follow, get out of the way. Those guys put the work in.
100%.
But so the Packers, or you said the Jets and Packers,
or the Jets and the Rams were the two teams we thought were most interested. Yep.
That's a spite, man. How do you feel about playing? I mean, granted, you want to play ball and whatnot, but it's like, of course. It's the team that I grew up watching that abandoned me. Yep,
that just left us. So obviously it'd have been like, the Rams did us dirty, but like you just said, I want to play football. I could care less who it's for.
I mean, you got your preferences, but then there's reality.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Reality, it does not matter. Let's get on the field. Let's make something happen. And so I still have friends that really like the Rams. So there wasn't like there was any hate for the Rams from anyone. Like that happened how long ago?
Too soon.
Too soon? No.
Well, I think what hurts about that, and I think St. Louis deserves football at a professional level, which we do have.
Got it.
And but I mean, like 2015, the way Kroenke did it, and I think what hurts about it so much more is in 2020 to have the Battlehawks come, leave, essentially be on the fritz of is this happening again, and then 2023 comes, okay, like I'm ready to have my heart broken again.
Yep.
And then now with all this stuff going on with merging and teams leaving and teams that, and I'm pretty connected to the league, so I'm like, man, if they're going to do a league and they don't have the Battlehawks, but the casual fan doesn't know that.
Yeah,
like they hear teams are getting cut. Oh, St. Louis.
Yep.
They've done it before. It's like, no, you don't understand how important St. Louis is to the spring football economy. But I mean, I met people going off tangent here, but I met people in the Ozarks who were like, we love the XFL, we love the Battlehawks. We're not going to a game until 2024. It's like we will not invest our money.
Committed.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's they were like, we were Rams season ticket holders, and then this and that. Loved it in 2020, and then The Rock buys his stuff and all that stuff, and it's like, see you in 24.
Yep.
Watch the games from home. We'll help with that, but we'll see you in 24.
Yep. So. I mean, obviously the Battlehawks have one of the biggest markets for the XFL football. If you just look at the stadium, whenever they started the season, and then of course. What they said they're going to open up the second level this year?
The 400 level.
Oh, yeah. So they've already made it to the 400 level.
Yeah, we are. Man. Yeah. I mean, I went to 4 games this year. Was on the field for a couple of them, and got to know the players, got to know the coaches, got to know like support staff, and then talking to the fans and doing my media stuff. Man, it was amazing to be a part of, and to have like, I would have loved if you got signed by them, but even Brian Hill, Belleville guy.
Yep.
That meant a lot. Antonio Phillips, when he came here, is he St. Louis or is he Illinois? I can't remember.
I'm going to say Illinois because I'm not sure that I've heard of him.
Yeah, I mean, he played at Ball State and with the Bengals. But, like, his family being around. And, I mean, it's just so much, like, good stuff. And, I mean, it livens the city up. The Dome, a lot of great memories there, but, livens it up. Coming up on that then, like seeing, the fallout, obviously you're mentioning you're traveling, training, meetings. Are you even thinking about the XFL or the USFL, coming up, or you're just like, I'm going to go be a Packer. I'm going to go be, a Jet. I'm going to go be a Ram,
So at the time, that was like my mindset was, okay, this is what we're going to do. So I'm not sure that other paths will work out. So I'm locked in on whatever team ends up taking me. I'm going to make whatever work needs to work. Obviously, I ended up signing with the Panthers as an undrafted free agent. And so that was the team that, I'm like, okay, cool. I want to be a Panther for life now.
Yeah, Panthers, yeah. Bryce Young,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, I love Frank Reich. Yeah, man, Dave Tepper. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And I still got a lot of good friends on that team, and I really did enjoy the working with the staff on that team. So yeah.
Walk me through draft day.
Which one?
Walk me through all three.
Yeah.
So did you do draft party?
No. So if I would have had the Shrine Bowl and I would have performed well at the Shrine Bowl, I think I would have probably had a draft party. My coach, if we're talking about Coach Bass and our dean of students wanted to have a draft party up at Quincy. I was like, okay, I'll do it. Was it going to be awkward if things didn't work out? Yes, but would I have done it for the school? Yeah, I mean.
At that point, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about QU.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
How's it taste?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have did a draft party if that was the case. We knew if anything happened, it wasn't going to be in the first two days.
Yeah.
It was going to be on that third day. So first day, am I watching? Yes, I'm watching. But
you're watching just like, for the brand.
Yeah, and it's also like, but what if?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
And then obviously the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of keep track of how many offensive tackles were taken early on. So I was making a list of that on my phone.
And that's a big thing too, is like, I've talked to a couple of day 2 guys, day 3 guys who were like, it's the panic buying. You see it mostly with quarterbacks, I feel like, because that's the sexy position. But when people are like, oh, this guy isn't worth a first round pick, and you're like, he's not, but 7 other guys are.
Yep.
And that one team is freaking out because they thought they were going to have guy 4 through 7, and they're all gone. Yep. So
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So I think that's uber, high intelligence of like reading the room for you. Might not happen, but if 32 offensive tackles go in the first round, then your boys, so you're telling me there's a chance, right?
Man. So yeah, we're obviously watching all first day. No real emotion attached to nothing happening the first day, and honestly, it's probably the same exact thing for the second day. Was really excited to see my boy once again, Chandler Zavala, got picked up that day by the Panthers. So that was a really cool experience. We had our group chat with all of us and all our parents and the agents in there.
Yeah,
everyone's congratulating him, so that was super cool to see. Obviously, we get to day 3. Now it's like, okay, now we're
now you ever see the video game meme where he's like sitting
locked in? Yep.
Yeah.
That's basically exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The first 2 days I was watching downstairs in the living room with my family. Now I'm upstairs in my room watching on my laptop. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be calm about it. If nothing happens, we'll make something happen after.
Yeah.
You're injured, we will make something happen. You're coming off injury, it's okay. And we kind of get to that. So funny enough, the last pick was the Rams, and I'm like, and my agent a little bit maybe an hour before that last pick was like, the Rams are saying there's a chance that they take you. I'm like, I could be Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it relevant. I'm going to be like what Brock Purdy's doing. But so obviously the Rams didn't end up taking me. It happened. Was I upset about it or upset about not getting picked up that day? Not too upset. I was like, I wasn't happy by any means.
Yeah.
But so I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get signed as undrafted free agent right after. We'll be cool. And so that night goes through, and my agent's like, I don't think we're going to get anything tonight. It's like, okay. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit like, okay, maybe XFL-USFL is the route we're going to have to take, and that's fine. We'll work through it. Maybe 4 days later, and at this point I'm like, okay, yeah, it's definitely going to be XFL or USFL, or I'm going to have to kill a workout.
Yeah.
Because the whole plan that me and my agent had, I wasn't going to be cleared from injury until basically halfway through training camp.
Yeah.
Is what was projected.
Yeah.
So we needed somebody that was going to be willing to rehab me.
Yep.
And none of the teams were really willing to do that until the Panthers. They flew me out for a meeting, I guess, not a workout, and they were asking their questions, and the offensive line coach, he's like, okay, well, what percent do you think you're at it? I'm like, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm feeling good. Like, I can move well, but obviously I'm not at full power. And he's like, okay. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, I can dunk still. And I don't know why I thought to throw that out there. Because I just filmed a video for my agent to kind of send around. And one of the things I put in the video was me dunking. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, you can? And I'm like, yeah. And you want to see? He was like, yeah, sure. So I showed him the video, and he's like, email that to me. I'm like, okay, I'll gladly email that to you. And so I end up meeting with the GM before I leave. Or actually, the offensive line coach, Coach Camp, and he introduced me to the offensive coordinator, assistant offensive line coach, and then the head coach before I left. And then took me back to the GM, and he's like, okay, we're not going to sign you now, but I think in like a month, bring you back in for a workout, see how it's going. Go to the airport. I'm okay with that. So they end up taking me back to the airport. I'm sitting in the airport, and my agent calls me, and he's like, so are you tired of wearing brown and yellow? I'm like, I guess. He's like, okay, cool. We're throwing blue and black on for now. I'm like, oh, they're signing me? And it's like, and I'm in the airport in a very public space in Charlotte, obviously. So I'm not trying to like get too excited about this. And then I'm just trying to kind of keep my cool, stay quiet. And he's like, yeah, they're signing you. His wife's on the phone. She's yelling in the background, getting hype and stuff. I'm like, so do I need to like leave the airport? He's like, oh no, you can go home still.
Yeah. So you didn't have to do like OTAs, rookie minicamp, or like, did you have to show up to OTAs? Or?
Yeah. So rookie minicamp was that week that I got signed, and so I had graduation from my master's. So they were like, yeah, just go ahead and go graduate.
Yeah.
Which that was also a crazy experience going back to Quincy for right after signing.
I think they made a tweet about it or something like that, right? Like, yeah, they did some, doing the workup on the interview. I think QU's done pretty good by you as far as like advertising.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, they like, I think it took them a minute when you did the Roughnecks signing.
Yep.
But like when I tweeted it out,
yep,
I feel like because I tagged Bass in it, and then it came up like, I made a tweet about it, and then like I sent it to him, and then like it came up like a graphic for you, and I was like, I feel like they did that because of me, low-key.
Yeah. So I had told our graphic designer. Because I hadn't signed yet. It was like 2 days before I signed. I said, I'm pretty sure I'm signing with the Roughnecks. Here's this, or here's the team. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. I'll make a graphic. And I didn't tell Coach Baz and Coach Ladd until our offensive line coach until I was like 100% certain that the signing was going to go through. So it signed. Then I told them, and the day that it got announced was the day I had told them. So obviously, you're more on the wire than they are with that.
I'm all about that stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm like, like we talked about, I'm all about small school. I'm all about like these guys, like getting the opportunity to coaches. Like, and, I mean, you look at like a guy like you, for example, kind of feels like, injury, need that year. Okay, he can play at this level. Let's see if we can bring him into a camp, whatnot. Like, because after the OTAs and graduation for you, like you go to camp, you're still not healthy.
Yeah, so OTAs, obviously I was there and I was in meetings and all that. I was doing my rehab with the team and I was doing a return to play, so conditioning. We get to camp, and the week before camp, I convinced the doctor enough that I can be cleared, and I get cleared. So that was my first time playing football in like 8 months was an NFL training camp. So that was something. Obviously we had like 2 days where it was just the rookies.
Yeah, that
wasn't too bad, but obviously I'm very out of shape at this point. I'm starting to get more in shape as we go along, and they bring the vets. The vets finally come up, and it's going okay. So not only was I injured, or coming off an injury, out of shape, but this was my first time playing right tackle for a prolonged time. That's what they had me at all of camp. So that was something that was new. There was a lot of things that I was like, oh wow, this is going. And I think we made a lot of really good progress. Like I notice whenever I do a lot of my work on my own now. And when I do all my sets and all my, getting on my run stance and stuff, that everything on my right side is way more detail oriented than it is on my left side. My left side feels more natural still, but my right side is like, okay, the technique it's starting to show.
Well, you had to learn it. There's a lot of, like you said, it was natural, and you being a bigger guy, they were just like, yeah, man, like just do it. And
Yep.
you were like, well, it's always worked. When you go to the right side, flipping it the other way, now I actually have to know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
It's not natural. I'm not bigger than anyone evermore, so I really have to like buckle down and whatnot.
Yep.
Did you feel like when you went to Canada for a little bit, or how was the Canadian process? Because after you got waived and whatnot, you know, it was only about a month and a half, and you're back. Bye, mom. Bye, dad.
Yep. Into a whole different country.
Yeah.
The process over there, it was also interesting. A lot of what we did was unpadded one-on-one, so we didn't participate too much in practice.
Because you're coming in while training, like did someone get hurt? Did they cut someone? Like what was?
So it was called.
There's like 6 of you guys that got signed up once, right?
Yep. So I'm trying to. I can't think of the name of it right now, but basically it was a program where extended PR. That's what it was.
Okay.
Extended practice roster. So basically all the CFL teams were allowed to bring in up to 10 guys, and add them to. And they had just added it this year.
Yeah.
So they were able to sign 10 new guys to their practice squad, and the guys could leave at any point. Like they could walk into the locker room and be like, I don't like this, and go home, get a flight home. Which honestly, there were like 2 guys that did that, which was
because they're paying you to be there.
Yeah.
You this isn't like an internship. This
No.
is like we're paying you to play football.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
It's because I know people love football, but man, like playing at a professional level, like and not getting paid is a.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that'd be something different.
Yeah.
But so obviously they're paying for housing and all that stuff. We had like 3 guys leave. 1 guy ended up getting injured, and then 1 guy got signed to the Raiders practice squad like 2 weeks in. Malik Flowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
But there was one of those guys they signed that like ended up playing, right? Like.
Yep.
Like, I forget his name. I feel like it came up recently.
Well, he's a Battlehawk, so that's why it's
Emke.
Yeah.
Emke. Yeah.
I was trying to think of how to pronounce his name. They just called him E up there. So
Yeah, double E.
Yep, double E.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's why, because I did the write up on him,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so he was. That's an NFL guy, a fringe NFL guy too.
Yeah, he was with the Chargers for a little bit.
Steelers, I feel like,
Yep.
because he was supposed to sign, and then they picked him up on the practice squad, and then. No. I mean, get the world tour in, man.
Yeah,
get them all in. I don't care.
Exactly. That's a guy that's a really good DN. That was so before he got signed, he was the one like that I was excited to go against. I felt like me and him that was really iron sharpens iron. We were really getting a lot of good work against each other. There were a lot more O-line than D-line on the extended PR on the practice squad. There was 6 of us on the practice squad, and then they had anywhere between 2 to 4 D linemen. So they're going like 20 reps each, while we're going like 4 reps each.
So you're like, yeah, I had a pretty good day, and you're like, yeah, well, you should have a pretty good day if you're going against a guy who's on rep 20.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was something. The offensive line coach was great. It kind of helped my technique in a different way, because obviously they don't have they have that yard cushion.
Yeah.
So that's a completely different experience when trying to block somebody off or block them right off the line of scrimmage versus they have that yard head start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I kind of felt like it's a tool that I could put in my bag, not for how it's meant to be used in the CFL, but how I could like kind of transfer it to NFL, XFL type stuff.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I do like that yard cushion, because I think it just maximizes that the QB, like the Russian QB and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because who did you guys have? You had Taylor and Trey Ford, right?
Yep, Trey Ford was the starter by the time I got up there.
Yeah, and then like Taylor's like that dude at the Y, who like gives work, and you're just kind of like, all right, bro. Especially the hairline.
Oh yeah, well, hairline's wild. Yeah.
Because my man's still holding on.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's trying. I mean, you gotta try it for a little bit, right?
I mean, I don't know. I think you just go Bruce Willis and just like
You think?
bald in charge. And he's tall, dude. Tall bald people are good.
It kind of scares me.
Is he? can he grow a beard at all, or is he patchy?
He didn't have a beard when I was up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can grow a beard because I mean, I know he went to OSU, so it'd probably like, a little trashy. But I mean, I think if I had his hairline, I'd be bald.
Got a homie that has that hairline, and he needs to let it go too. So I feel that.
Yeah, you okay? Like you want?
What are we doing?
I mean, coach basketball.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got the little like stubble on the sides and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that, but I mean, I don't know. He's doing pretty okay for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
In the personal relationship.
Exactly.
I think that's why him and I get along, because we're both ugly fat guys who have good look, who punched up. You know. Yeah. Oh man, you gotta see that. It's funny.
The big guys are cuddly. That's why they like us.
Yeah, it was good when I used to make the excuse like, as long as my chest is bigger than my waist, I'm doing well.
That's a great point, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be honest.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
lives on the bench press.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do push-ups and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you're trying to bench more?" I'm like, "No, dude. I'm actually trying to get
big chest.
I'm trying to get fatter. I want to do less cardio.
Yep.
But if my chest is bigger than my waist, then it doesn't matter as much.
Then we have a problem. Yeah.
No, we don't have. No, if my chest is bigger than my waist, we don't have.
Oh, we don't have. We are good. Yeah.
Because barrel chest. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I don't know. That's how I rock with it, man.
No, I mean I respect it. I understand it. I don't really. I got a hole in my chest, so I don't really get that.
Oh, jeez. I got a hole in my heart.
Yeah, hey, my chest just kind of like concaves in, and the doctors told me the only way to fix this was with plastic surgery. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't care that much.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah, I'm not getting plastic surgery.
I'm 6'5", dude. I'm a professional athlete. I don't have to get plastic surgery.
No, not at all.
Yeah, if I'm like 5'6", then
we could talk.
Yeah, I have redeemable qualities and good genetics minus this. Okay, man.
Exactly.
So is that kind of like a gentleman's agreement that like, hey, at the end of these 6 weeks, like, go back to America, like, type of thing in Canada, or is it like, or can they keep you on? Like, how does that usually work?
So I don't know how.
Or was the season over by then?
Yeah, so the season ended 2 weeks after I left.
Okay.
I stayed the full. Me and one other guy were the only ones that stayed the full 4 weeks.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, if I'm not here, I'm just going to be at home not getting work against actual people. It's better just to finish it out and be here for the 4 weeks. And the staff was good to me.
Yeah.
So
a lot of those guys are Lindenwood guys.
Really?
Yeah, they have a couple of those guys have like ties to Lindenwood from Edmonton.
Okay. Yeah. So I knew two of them did. I know Coach Jones has ties to like everything, but one of the recruiters that actually called me was like, "Oh yeah, I went to Lindenwood." Like, oh,
Sammy G.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There's I mean, and not only that too, it's like you played out your contract as well. Like you did it, like regardless of what happens in your future, like you're a professional football player.
Yep.
For the rest of your life, So I mean, like there's always that personal accomplishment to go off of.
100%. I mean, one thing I think, no matter like what people say, no one will be able to take away from me is, one, I was the first person from my school to get signed to an NFL team. 2, I signed to an NFL team. And 3, I've been part of more than one team. I think that is something that's, no matter how you look at it, a lot of people can't say. They always give the numbers for how many kids out of high school actually play at college, and then what happens after that. I always think back to in 8th grade, my English teacher, our homeroom teacher, told us we had to do this like financial thing. You had to pick a job. Me being the kid I was back then, I was a big basketball guy. I'm like, NBA. I'm going to the NBA. And she's like, let's be realistic. That's never going to happen. And in my head, I'm like, I mean, NFL. Let's just be honest. That's kind of the same thing. Obviously, there's more players in the NFL, but it's like she said I wasn't going to make the NBA, but I made it to NFL. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I wrote Marine on mine. Mine wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I just had to go to stupid summer camp for 13 weeks, and then bam, you can become a Marine. So
I feel like it was a little bit harder than that.
I just call it silly summer camp.
Silly summer camp.
I mean, I say another word, but let's keep it off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Did you get a signing bonus?
No, so I didn't get a signing bonus.
But you get stipend for being in camp, though, right?
Yeah, so everyone gets a pay during camp.
So there you go. Yeah. And you have David Tepper's money.
I do have David Tepper's money. It's in my bank account.
Still,
yeah, still, like maybe like just a little bit left.
Yeah.
Most of my money's from my working money now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it gets supplemented though from the city of Edmonton. Because doesn't the city own the Elks? I think. I don't think they have an owner, right?
No. So Chris Jones is the GM and the. No, wait, he's GM and the head coach. I don't know who the owner is.
I think they're owned by the city.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think one of the CFL teams is like owned by. It's like a public thing, but yeah, man, like so you got those Canadians and you got David Tepper's money.
I'm just chilling in my pocket. I do have some Canadian money still too, like actual like
the Queen's money or whatever.
Did you know the coin for or the $1 and $2 coin is called a loonie and a toonie in Canada? my friends.
I thought they were just Canadian pounds.
No, there's a loonie and a toonie is the $1 and $2 coin.
Oh, man.
That was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
They can keep that stuff up.
They can keep that. I mean, obviously, I took one home.
Yeah,
I was like,
for science reasons.
Yeah, I got to study that.
Yeah, I mean, like I got Afghan money. Like that, granted, it's worth like I think one Afghani is like less than 1 cent, depending on the day.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's like the Zimbabwe dude. Oh my God, offline. Your dad might know about this with his line of work, but they like when the Marines first got to Iraq in like 2003, like all of like Saddam's money, like they would all steal like the Iraqi dinars and stuff. And it was like 3 months, like billions of dollars of like Iraqi dinars was actually worth something. Now it's worth like nothing.
Oh.
But like if you got home and you like took that money from his palace and stuff, dude, like you actually like could have made a hell of a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, but now it's it's not worth anything now.
It's nothing.
It's a hella cool. You can put it if you own a bar, you just put it up there or something.
That would be pretty dope. Just having a bunch of different types of currency, just chilling.
I mean, I would really want a golden AK.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, no,
that's like movie stuff right there.
Yeah, no, I bought an airsoft AK and I painted it gold.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's in my budget right now.
Okay. I mean, maybe one day we'll get the real one going.
Yeah, I mean, we go viral. You get enough people to retweet this.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing. Be like, go bankrupt because of BJ Wilson.
Yeah, give my guy a golden AK.
Yeah. Inshallah. Mashallah, inshallah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I'm Mr. Worldwide, man.
Yeah, you are Mr. Worldwide. Yeah. You're really showing it. So yeah.
Chickadee, bobaji, hubasti ne. See, that's the thing I tell people, man. Is like if you don't know what you're saying in a different language, but you know like enough words, you just say you just do that.
Ja, nie кажешь там по-русски знаешь, да?
Oh God, don't tell me. Ruski?
Da.
No, Ruski. No, I don't speak Russian.
That's what I took in high school for 3 years.
Bro, I was starting to learn Kartuli, like the Georgian language.
Okay.
And they it's like the same. Well, I don't want to say that out loud. People get upset, but it's like Georgia. It's like the offshoot of it's a country under Russia.
Okay.
There was a war in 2008. I mean, what they're doing in Ukraine right now is what they did in Georgia in like 2008, but no one cares. Yeah. I mean, no one cared to be honest with you. It's but yeah, dude, like I used to work with like the Georgian soldiers. I was trying to learn Kartuli, but yeah, man, I did some COVID relief as a medic for a little bit, and I had a couple of Russian patients and they wouldn't take their medicine. So I always used to tell them that their medicine was, I was like, babushka, babushka, Svedka. And they're like, oh, Svedka. And I'm like, yeah, Svedka. And they're like, you speak Russian? I'm like, no.
I speak enough.
Yeah, I mean.
Know a few words.
Yeah, she took the medicine, man. I don't know what you want from me. But yeah, dude, it was crazy times, man.
Definitely.
Crazy. Yeah. So moving forward, I feel like we bounced around a little bit. We've been doing it almost an hour. Don't want to take too much time, but how'd the XFL come into play? Is this the agent helping you out, or?
So agent's been doing a great job. He was actually in the middle of working on some futures contracts with some NFL teams. So one of the a guy who used to work with Matt Bierman up at Elite is the director of player personnel for the Houston Roughnecks. So
that was my next question. Did Mark help it?
Yep,
hook it up?
Mark helped out a little bit. You know, obviously he's known me since I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
He lives pretty close to me out there. I was hoping to have him come on at some point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to nudge that a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, I'll give him a little nudging. Yeah.
Send this to him and he'll be like, "Oh, I met that guy." And I'll be like, "Yeah."
Yeah, so he was obviously he reached out to me a week before I went to Edmonton.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, just tell me, or if as long as your injury's doing good, which at that point I was 100% clear.
Yeah, I mean, if Edmonton's signing you, like they got apparently Canada's got this great healthcare system.
Yeah.
You would think that their doctors would be okay with you coming up there, right?
Exactly. So actually, I got cleared by the Panthers first, but. So I was 100%.
Those are Tepper's doctors.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't clear him, they get fired, right?
That is true. Yeah,
I said that, not him. So if you want him to come and play with you, please.
Oh, gladly.
Yeah,
gladly come back.
But I don't like you, David. BJ likes you. Frank Reich deserved better.
Hey, no comments. Yeah, I was going to say I have no comments. Anyways, continuing. What were we talking about?
Marky Mark in the funky. In the funky rough.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm on 3 coffees in, a couple zins. I'm on it, dude.
Oh, I see you caffeinated up,
dude. Podcast number 2 today.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're locked in.
Yeah. Ooh, let's go. Freaking there.
So he hit me up and he was like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you come play for the Roughnecks." Obviously, I'm like, "Awesome. I would do that. I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna go do this thing in Edmonton real quick because I already committed to it." And that's kind of my thing. If I commit to something, I'm going to do it.
And the money.
Yeah.
And there's no signing bonus in the XFL.
Yeah.
Yet.
I did not know that actually. But
I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't think there is either.
Yeah.
I just because I've signed the contract, I've read it. I just didn't put those two things together.
Yeah.
But
your signing bonus in the XFL was going to play in Edmonton.
Yeah, exactly. I got to experience a different country because of that.
Yep.
But so I ended up, he ended up hitting me up once again, probably 2-3 weeks ago. And he was like, actually, no, he hit me up 1 week ago and said, we are allowed to do signings today. We'd love to have you. What you thinking? You trying to do this? Obviously, my agent and me had only talked about this a few times. So I send the text to my agent. I'm like, I'm down to do it. And what you think? And because he had literally just talked to me earlier that day about the XFL or NFL futures contracts.
Yeah. So Marky Mark in the rough knee bunch. Agents looking around. Obviously, you got your signing bonus up in Edmonton and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then from there, the futures deals was you're not the only one who's ever talked about futures deals and kind of being like, I don't know about this, stuff like that. Is that kind of where it lied onto you a little bit, or?
So one thing we knew for certain was I had no film against higher level competition. So we wanted to make sure that, okay, let's say we don't get this futures contracts, because with futures contracts, they can cut you at any point. Make space. You don't have to do anything wrong. They just want to make space and they can cut you. So we're like, okay, we have this thing that's a little bit more certain. Obviously, you can still get cut from the XFL, but it's the futures contract. You could not even make it to camp and get cut before that.
And at least when you signing this LOI, granted things are a little goofy right now, but even if you get cut in the XFL, they cut you during practice, you know, so you have the other teams you're going against in the XFL, and with that futures deal, how many of those guys have signed a futures deal, were drafted by the XFL, and then were cut in May once, okay, I was a quarterback. We needed, we had 4 quarterbacks. Oh, this guy fell to us. That's our camp body, you know what I mean? So that's my opinion on it. So I think you made the right move personally.
Yep, 100%.
I think all you guys who choose I don't even think it's betting on yourself. I think it's just being practical and reasonable, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. It's taking the more certain thing, the more reasonable option, and I do not regret that decision at all.
A lot of craziness going on right now.
Yep, definitely.
I don't want you to indulge too much as we wrap it up, but what's your like mindset? Like, what have you been told? What have and don't, not from the league or anything, but are you just kind of like, hey man, trusting the process, doing what I got to do, and someone out there is going to find me type of thing?
Yeah, so that's honestly all it's been for me is I've experienced, honestly, a decent amount of stuff since I've started, like, trying to play football at a professional level. If it doesn't end up working out and they choose to end up cutting the Roughnecks, then it's just going to be doing the same thing I've been doing, keep pushing forward. That's kind of been my motto the past few years is just whatever it is, just keep trucking. And that's what I've been doing, so.
I think the best thing for you too, and I don't want to sound like, I'm an authoritative figure on this, is based off the information that I've been given and that's been put out, is now you're in the pool.
Yep.
So like, okay, yeah, there's no one else coming into the pool. Like you're in it.
Yep.
We're done. Like this is the, it's draft day again. And with you being in the pool, and everything like that, like, yeah, maybe you don't get selected in this next go around or the next two go arounds. But as soon as injuries come out, like, I would like to think if they do it right by the guys who don't make it, that like anyone who got not selected, like they have to give them a look. Yeah, like you have to have them.
That's what I would expect. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the end, like, I wasn't really big into The Rock and all that stuff. I think he's kind of a tool, in my opinion, but whatever. I think, like, there are so many people who are having their lives thrown around and whatnot that, like, for you, I think you're in a lucky space because you're younger. But, if this is 4 years down the road where you're, like, fringing, like, am I playing football? Do I do this? Well, this team called, like, to have, like, and now I have to deal with this. Like, this was my film. Like, I was going to go be an all-league guy, and now I don't even have a team. Like, I don't know. But with that being said, went from being a Hawk, could be a Battle Hawk.
Could happen. It could happen.
But, I mean, BJ, talk your ear off the last hour because obviously after I have to talk to you for 20 minutes before you leave. You know, that's the best stuff. That's where we take the cameras and all that stuff. But where can people find you, man, on the social medias? I know you love Twitter. You were just
I do love Twitter, yes.
I love Twitter. And then you got a podcast as well you want to bump out, right?
Oh, yeah. So Instagram, that's mainly what I'm on, BJ Third. It's 3RD, not THIRD. And then my Twitter, it got hacked when I was younger, so it's not BJ Third, it's BJ 35th. And that, and then Men the Podcast is me and my homeboys podcast. It's about men's mental health. Something we've all had experiences with, so we take it really seriously, especially because the four of us that do it, we're athletes, so we've seen a lot of mental health issues that come towards men. So Men the Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify and Instagram as well.
Yeah, and I'll be putting the links to his podcast in the bottom. Really appreciate you coming on, BJ. Awesome getting to know you. Look forward to seeing your career and just kicking it and checking your stuff out. I mean, I can't say enough, man. Best of luck for you in the future, dude.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, bro.